Hey guys, we are all packed up and ready to go. We are doing Utah trip part 2. This time we are doing northern Utah. Last time we did southern Utah. I'll explain a little bit why we did Utah in 2 trips later on, but for now, come along for the ride. The original plan for our departure was to leave Sunday afternoon. However, Friday night, we got it into our heads that things were working out so well that we could leave early. I had a girls' day Saturday morning, and then as soon as I got home, we started packing it up to hit the road. What we definitely were not anticipating was our very first night, Sebastian started throwing up and threw up the entire night long. We started wondering if we should just turn around and go home, but by the next morning he was looking significantly better, although he was pale and exhausted. We were all very, very tired from the long night, but we were able to be in our own motorhome, and that made a world of difference. Also, we discovered that the washing machine does actually work. Hashtag kid puking all night.
Good. Oh yeah. Thank you. Good job. High five. What a, yeah. Yeah, good job. Daddy want essa, sukses för att Daddy sen tog honest.
Figuring out where we're going to boondock for the night is always an interesting experience. This particular spot was one of my favorites of the entire trip, mainly because of the location. We were parked on a dried out lake bed. And while we did have a few neighbors, we also had lots of privacy and the whole area felt very safe. Good night. Yeah, all the way up there. Yeah, good night. Hi. You sleep good.
Still drinking time.
Yeah. By this time, we'd already been on the road for several days. Laundry was starting to pile up, especially with Bash having just been sick and throwing up all over the place. Laundry evenings are something that we actually really enjoy. They're really, really low-key evenings. We take it really chill, spend time together as a family. Often we'll get food out. I will start the laundry process. Jared will go pick up things at the store. We'll go get food. It's something we all enjoy.
Mom!
His nose is so dirty. This piece of artwork was definitely a random find, but not one that you could actually miss. It was completely surrounded by fencing, but oh wait, here's a hole you could climb through. That seems secure. The metaphor, otherwise known as the Tree of Utah, was literally right off the road, standing in the middle of the Bonneville salt flats. A little bit random, but it was worth the look. You ate it? Hey. Don't rub your eyes. Of course, we couldn't visit the salt flats without doing a little bit of cruising ourselves. When it was all said and done, I told Jared that we probably put 10 winters worth of salt on our vehicle. We ran it through the car wash probably 4 times, and when we came back to Indiana, we were still finding literal chunks of salt in our bumper. I always thought I was pretty strictly your eastern states, densely forested area loving kind of person. Give me the trees and grass any day. States like Utah always look too hot, too dry, too barren, too deserty. But over our last 2 trips, I've discovered how much I actually enjoy states like these. Yes, it's hot, but it's not humid, so the heat isn't as unbearable as it would be at home if it was this hot. But there's a wild, rugged beauty that comes to states like these that you won't find back home. And quite honestly, I really love it. Is that my shoe? So our plans for today changed pretty drastically. We were gonna go do the Pink Salt Lake, but right as we were about to leave, Sebastian randomly threw up again. He hasn't been throwing up for several days. He's been really tired, but hasn't thrown up. And yeah, randomly just lost it all over the floor. So we stayed home today. We have just really had a nice, relaxing day, actually. But Griffin and I are gonna go explore this ridge, the same ridge that I walked up this morning. I only went part of the way up, but there's quite a bit more to see, so we're gonna go check that out. Okay, a few things make sense now. I had seen a vehicle parked up here, right about this spot. There's the motorhome. And I had wondered why they didn't go up any further. It's because you can't. That's as far as you can go. And I picked the wrong shoes. Just your friendly PSA. If you're going to do a spur of the moment adventure, always double check your footwear and make sure they're sneakers. I don't know if it was worth all the sweating, but the view up here is pretty amazing. Did you just taste it?
Salty. So, du må läppen och släcka. Ja, släck man läppen.
So that hand that I stuck in the water earlier is starting to dry, and you can literally see the salt on my hand. It's like turning white. Also, like, I can feel the cuts that I didn't know I had. I was a little hesitant to drive the 2 hours all the way up to the Pink Salt Lake because I was pretty sure that we would get there and it wouldn't actually be pink. Much to my delight and surprise, the water was actually pink and the salt density was so high that you'd stick your hand in it and your hand would be completely covered with salt. By the time we were all done, most of us were like covered in white, salty substance from head to toe. Mostly Griffin. Tomorrow we leave this spot and we head towards Moab. I really, really loved this spot. Tonight we are wrapping everything up to travel early tomorrow morning. Putting the slides in so it doesn't wake up the boys in the morning. Hooking up the Atlas to the trailer, all the things so that we can travel pretty smooth tomorrow. So we stopped here, unloaded the Atlas over there so we could scout out a spot. We found the spot that we want. Now I'm gonna take the boys down to the place that we picked out and Jared will follow me with the RV. Griffin ready to.
It's your turn.
So Jared asked me where I wanted to eat in Moab tonight, and we came across this food truck park, and after he saw it, he knew that there was no other option. This is where we were going to eat. It's gonna be amazing.
It smells so good.
It does, it smells really good. The food truck park was just as amazing as I thought it was gonna be, with every possible kind of food you could ever think of. Want tacos? There was a taco truck. Want Chinese? There was a Chinese food truck. You want bubble tea? They had a bubble tea truck. All of the things that you could possibly want, plus these amazing misters to keep people cool because it was so crazy hot. Thank you. Huh? Every food truck had these nifty little beepers to tell you when your food was ready, so you could move on to the next truck and order something else, or you could go and sit down. True to character, I found my boba tea and Chinese food, while Jared, also true to character, found something more classic American. Good morning.
We're gonna need to be on it for Rocky Mountain National Park.
Good morning. You guys are doing so well. It's so early. We're gonna go to Arches today. Arches? Aww. Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to go to the turret arch yet?
Is he?
The mom. Hey, to the mom.
I'm looking at another vision.
I know. So many lizards.
I want him, and he went too fast.
The lizard did. He ran too fast. Is it a lizard?
Yeah. That's it, bro. When that flowing lizard would run away.
The lizard would run away. Yeah. In the end, the boys didn't even make it to the delicate arch overlook. They were too tired. It was too hot. Bless Jared's heart, he told me to keep going because he knew I really wanted to see it, and then he took the boys back down to the Atlas. From there, we packed up and headed to Colorado. Do you like it? So we got into Colorado last night, and as much as I love Utah, and as much as Utah is just insanely beautiful and I would go back 100 times, there's something about Colorado that is just cozy and feels a little bit like coming home. So it's just really calming for me to be back in Colorado. We've been here, we had our honeymoon here actually in Colorado. So yeah, it's good to be back. Griffin is sick now. Hopefully not as bad as Sebastian was, but he is sick. So we are having a very, very chill morning. Is it what? Yeah, maybe it is a man bear. A lady bear? I think you're right. But look at the snow. It's snowing. Sebastian, do you like the mountain?
Yeah.
What are we looking at? Oh. Oh, there's a moose and a baby moose. That Clary, go over there. Ooh. Right there. Okay, stop. I need some pictures. So now is probably as good of a time as any to explain why we did Utah in 2 trips. My husband works at an RV factory in northern Indiana, and they don't get vacation days. Instead, they get scheduled vacations. So often they get the holidays off and then a couple days or even up to a couple weeks off for the holidays, which means you need to plan your holidays around the factory's holidays. While it's not very flexible, they are generally pretty generous about how many days they get off, so we won't complain.
Look, I'm getting off. Look. See my hair? It's coming off. Huh. It's tree.
Today we head to Mount Evans, but obviously first we gotta stop for coffee. Super cute on the inside, and in typical Colorado fashion, CBD infused sparkling water. And it wasn't all just about the looks, the coffee was good, but let's talk about the cookies. Salted caramel cookies that were the size of my face, and they were so good. It is a black fox. It is an unbothered black fox. Did she give you a Junior Ranger book?
Yeah.
Whoa, wasn't that nice of her? And these cool badges, but she said you can only have these if you're not naughty. Due to the elevation, the bag of Funyuns may soon have baby Funyuns. Hello, sir. Cheerio. Tally-ho. Mount Evans is a site that Jared's family always visited when he came to Colorado as a child. There's a summit you can hike up to, but you can't even see it because of the fog. It was too cold to take the boys up, and they were too tired, so we didn't even attempt it. 14,000 feet in elevation, and all we saw was fog.
Did you know that you can see miles from Mount Evans? That is false. You can't see anything. Welcome to Mount Evans, where you see nothing but fog. Drove up 14,000 feet just to see fog. They never even left the vehicle, it's too cold. Hello, sir.
Why are they on the road?
You are in our way. Please move.
In some ways, the fog and the cold actually worked in our favor because poor Griffin wasn't handling the elevation well. Jared and I have both done Mount Evans multiple times, so we weren't terribly disappointed, and maybe we can do it again when the boys are a little bit older.
I should eat my snack.
You should eat your snack.
You missed your hat, dude. So daddy didn't push give her. What's your thing? So daddy didn't push give her.
I grew up spending a large amount of my childhood in the woods. So let me tell you, I was thriving among the mountains and the trees and all of the green. I have a dream that someday we'll be able to own a property that has a forested area on it. That would be such a dream come true for me, to be able to go out into the woods and take a walk every morning. After Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs, we made a quick pit stop over to see Glen Erie, which is a castle/mansion kind of thing. It was so pretty. You weren't allowed to walk the grounds or even go inside unless you had a reservation or a tour or you were taking high tea, but we were allowed to look from the road and from the bridge. I decided then and there that whether it is in Ireland or here in Colorado Springs, someday I was going to take tea in a castle. And as pretty as this structure was, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like castle was a little bit of a stretch. However, I'm gonna take it.
Forgot, it's a tanker. Look, it's got the thing out the back.
Airplane. Oh, right.
If you are ever in Colorado Springs, the Airplane restaurant is a must-stop. Jared and I have both always been very fascinated by planes and aviation. We knew we would enjoy it. We knew Sebastian would enjoy it. What we weren't expecting was for Griffin to think that he had arrived in heaven. I'm not even joking. The child did not stop pointing at airplanes and repeating airplane, 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 airplane. It was definitely one of those times as a parent where you enjoy it 100 times more simply because your children are enjoying it so crazy much. The Airplane restaurant is a fully intact Boeing KC-97 tanker that was built in 1953. You can actually eat inside the airplane, or you can skip the wait and just eat in the additional seating area outside of the airplane. Obviously, we waited the extra 20 minutes because we really wanted to eat on the inside.
Yeah.
It was 100% worth the wait because the boys could even play in the cockpit. The staff were friendly, the food was good, and the boys were having the time of their lives. You guys ready to go home today? Drive back to Indiana?
Well, it's been a really great trip so far. Today we are packing things up and leaving Colorado, starting the long trek home. It's kind of bittersweet. I'm kind of ready to be home, but also it's just, we really enjoy it. It's been really good. We don't have views like this, woods like this, where we live in Indiana, so it feels good. There is just genuinely something about being among the hills and mountains and trees that really just refreshes me. I grew up practically living in the woods, and I miss that. I miss that so much. We don't really live in town, but we live very close, and we don't have any woods on our property, very small property. So yeah, coming out here always just feels like such a literal breath of fresh air.
I think I've been here twice, actually. Maybe, not sure. I got the orange drop. Wave your little drop. Good to do. Good drop.
Staying at Jared's parents' for our first night home may seem a little unconventional, but we had a plan. We only live a couple minutes from Jared's parents, but we knew that if we went straight home, we would spend the whole rest of our first evening home unpacking, cleaning out the motorhome, doing all the things. And we decided we would rather stay in vacation mode a little bit longer. It was honestly the best decision ever. Thank you for joining us in all of our Utah adventures, and we'll see you in the next one.